Welcome. Hi. The Digestive Health Personal Checklist Every Back Pain Sufferer Needs on Their Side, Part 4. Welcome, everybody. It's Jason Barlow, RMT, and I'm here today as your therapist and as your coach to help you transform any stress, tension, and pain into health, happiness, and vitality. So over the last few weeks, I push this into 4 parts for you just because there's a lot of information that I'm sharing with you and I wanted to make sure that you've got all the details that you need. Remember, in the description below, I give you 2 links. One is for the blog post that I'd written a year ago that relates to this information I'm sharing with you. And the other link is actually for a YouTube video. And that YouTube video is teaching you a very specific movement that I learned years ago with the Czech Institute, which is incredibly beneficial, incredibly therapeutic. And today in part 4, I thought I'd just spend a quick moment reviewing the early parts of that digestive personal checklist. Remember, we'd even discovered there's a way that you can evaluate your own digestive health by doing what is called the beet test. Ooh, what's that, you may say? Well, dive into the blog post below or listen to the previous episodes and you can find out more information. The personal health checklist, we went through hydration. We looked at emotional health. We looked at sleep hygiene, your stress response, and how you deal with stress in your life. We looked at eliminating pro-inflammatory foods and therefore increasing anti-inflammatory foods. We also talked about regular daily activity and the purpose and the function of that for leading a healthy, happy lifestyle. So there's 3 more pieces I wanted to fit into the overall checklist. And the first one relates to the very specific exercise of which you can get that YouTube link below. And it's called the breathing squat. You know, in my article, I share with you a story of traveling to France and having to go to the washroom in the center of Paris, of all places. And I got to the cubicle and there was no toilet. I had to squat down, do a wooden plates either side of the hole and perform my duty. So with that in mind, over time, I discovered that's actually one of the preferred methods to certainly eliminate from the body what we need to, because when you get into that deep squat position, and if you're like, well, I can't do that, then there's all the more reason why you may need to do it. Now, I'll come back to those who've had knee and hip replacements and speak a little bit to that. But in essence, we should all be able to deeply squat. And the only reason we can't is mainly because of how we've trained ourselves to sit. You know, right now I'm sat on a chair at my office desk. I go sit on the couch. I go sit on the toilet. Unless I take the time to train my body to go into a full depth squat, we usually not. There are some cultures around the world, and obviously some indigenous people around the world that don't have chairs or choose not to use chairs when they sit and dine and consume their foods or just gather. And so I got a funny story on that one. And so as a result, they're training their bodies to go into a full squat. Now, just this past weekend, me and my twin boys, they're 13, we decided we're going to go backcountry camping, which we've done some before, we've got experience of, but we'd never canoed in. So we canoed in. Well, it was an hour straight paddling straight across the Kananaskis Lake in this area. And we got there, we set up camp. Well, all the while you're sitting down in that position. And then I, next day returned, canoed across a whole hour back. Well, halfway across, my legs started to cramp up. So again, there's a relevancy there in terms of I hadn't been specifically preparing and training my body for that very purpose of canoeing and sitting in that position for that hour's length of time. And as a result, my body was starting to let me know that, hey, this is too long. You're an old man now, that you need to take some time to prepare your body for that type of activity should you choose to do it again. That 1 hour continuous paddling was a long time. I must admit, it was a lot bigger of a lake than I was anticipating, plus choppy water, plus wind and some other interesting climate. Nevertheless, the point to my story is we need to be training our body and using our body in its fullest capacity. And the deep squat is one of the healthiest ways to sustain good digestive health, but also to help massage the viscera. So that's kind of my next point here in part 4 is regular massage. And specifically, I'm saying regular visceral massage. Have your abdomen massage, even just massage it yourself, even just sat whilst you're listening to this talk right now, just massage around. And, I would do a clockwise motion going from the bottom right of your abdomen hip, going up toward your rib cage, across the bottom of your rib cage, and then down towards the bottom left of your pelvis and your left leg or hip, sorry. And then you would repeat across and then repeat up. Now, generally, you want to apply a little bit firmer pressure as you're traveling upwards and across and then downwards, and then release the pressure as you travel across to repeat, because you're actually following the cycle there of the colon. And the colon has a natural peristalsis, like a natural pulsation, and you're aiding that pulsation by doing that massage. Now, visceral massage is a very specialized type of massage, but in your abdomen, it feels pleasant, it feels good. And so going to see a therapist who's got that particular training and skill and understanding, they can more specifically massage most all of the organs. It's pretty remarkable. I took this training years ago, and it's pretty fascinating, the areas you're able to access and treat using these methods. So visceral massage is definitely on a radar for my recommendation for maintaining good digestive health. With that, you could also combine and do some colonic hydrotherapy if you're up and open to that. Pardon the pun. Then regular massage overall is also very therapeutic and beneficial. Why? Because it aids with that muscle recovery. You know, you've got over 600 muscles in your body. And I forget the number in your abdomen, but you've got a lot of muscles in your body. The heart itself is a very specialized muscle. All the organs, again, are dependent upon muscular activity, movement, as well as that stimulation of fluid that's occurring as we go through the process of hydration and digestion throughout the day. But sometimes it becomes stagnant. Either we're sitting too long and it's causing, compression, and it's causing irritation. It could be a gut inflammation. There's lots of reasons. So anytime you move through the purpose of physical movement, but also through the purpose of somebody's hands on you, massaging you, you're actually stimulating all those 600 muscles, the fascia that envelops them. And here's the interesting thing, is that fascia that envelops your muscles also intertwines and connects through all of your inner organs. So when you get a massage of your neck and shoulders, indirectly, you're actually treating the abdomen, the organs. You're treating the pelvis, you're treating the legs. Now, the more thorough that massage is, the deeper that massage is, as you know from coming to see me perhaps, then the more effective that can have and the longer lasting effects you get from it too. So that essentially concludes part 4 for you. So if you've enjoyed that part 4 and you've only listened to part 4, then you should jump back and listen to part 1, 2, and 3, because I dive deeper into these recommendations for digestive health. And this, remember, is specifically titled The Back Pain Sufferer. So if you're struggling with any back pain, do take into account the influence of the psychosomatic. So any worries, any stress and tension from a mental, emotional point of view will have an impact upon your digestive health. This was taught to me years ago, that it's the enteric nervous system. It's almost equivalent to the second brain. There's that many neurons in the digestive system. That gut instinct, there's a level of science behind why that term is used. And then add in, obviously, the very foods that we're choosing to consume. You can get reactions occurring from digestive inflammation and problems in the gut that will even not present themselves in the gut, in bowel movements. They'll present themselves with low back pain. So oftentimes there can be disguises, if you will, of abdominal, specifically digestive issues, organ issues that are showing themselves with pathologies in the spine, or soma, which is skin, patches, irritation, itching, skin rashes, or you could even specifically be getting muscle inactivation, right? You're trying to get this muscle working, and it should, by all accounts, you're doing the right movements, but it's still not activating. Why? Because potentially that muscle is not engaging, because the neurons and the nerve fibers that communicate with it are on the same loop as certain organs that currently are not doing their best job for you, because they're inflamed and they're irritated, and that shuts down that loop, that link. It's like going to your electric panel and you shut off one switch and it shuts off several sockets in your basement, for example. It's the same thing in the human body too. Really fascinating, really intriguing. I've tried to condense this into 4 parts for you. I could carry on. And if you're interested, you want me to teach a course on this, I'd love to. Just let me know. Your feedback is valuable. So if you've enjoyed this, please share it with other people. Share the video, share the podcast, whatever it is, and let people know I'm here to help. Here's your therapist. Here's your coach. And remember, Your muscle health is my number one priority. Hope you found that of benefit. Thank you for joining me and have a great rest of the evening. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.